Have you ever found yourself wondering if all the achievements, progress, and success we're chasing are truly making us happier or more fulfilled? What if I told you that all the hustle and bustle for bigger homes, higher paychecks, and the latest gadgets might be the very thing keeping you from real, lasting happiness? Today, we're diving into the powerful philosophy of Albert Caraco, a philosopher whose insights challenge everything we think we know about progress, meaning, and personal fulfillment. Caraco's perspective is not your average feel-good advice. It's raw, deeply thought-provoking, and might just flip your whole view of life upside down. Imagine a world where dissatisfaction isn't the enemy, but the very thing that propels us toward authenticity and deeper self-understanding. Sounds radical, right? But that's exactly what we're about to unpack today. Caraco believed that modern society's obsession with progress, consumerism, and technology often leads us away from true happiness. So, if you've ever felt that gnawing emptiness despite achieving your goals, or that everything around you just feels mechanical and shallow, this video is for you. In fact, by the end of it, you might just start looking at dissatisfaction as your new best friend, your ticket to a more meaningful and fulfilling life. But here's the twist. This video isn't just about exploring philosophy. It's about taking action, changing your mindset, and finding the courage to live life on your own terms. So, if you're ready to challenge conventional wisdom, break free from societal expectations, and create a life that's more true to who you are, then stick with us. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you're finding this intriguing. Also, if you're enjoying the content and want to help support the channel, I'd love for you to donate a super thanks below. Your support helps keep these deep dives coming. Let's get started. Albert Caraco was a philosopher whose work explored the existential struggles that many individuals face in the modern age. His insights into the human condition and the philosophical tensions within contemporary society shed light on deep-rooted anxieties. Caraco's exploration of human existence confronts us with uncomfortable truths about the society we live in, urging us to re-evaluate the progress we have made and its underlying implications. Born in the early 20th century, Caraco's perspective provides a lens through which we can critically view our own lives and the disconnection we often feel despite unprecedented advancements in various aspects of life. One of Caraco's central criticisms of modern society is its obsession with progress. From a historical standpoint, humans have always strived for improvement, be it in technology, social structures, or personal development. Progress is a hallmark of modern life, celebrated and pursued relentlessly. However, Caraco argues that this pursuit often hides deeper anxieties and feelings of alienation. The paradox of progress is that even as we achieve advancements and milestones that should bring satisfaction, we increasingly feel disconnected, unfulfilled, and anxious. Take, for example, the technological boom of the 21st century. Advancements in communication, transportation, and healthcare have undeniably improved the quality of life for many people. Social media, for instance, allows individuals to connect instantly with anyone across the globe. Yet, despite this unprecedented ability to stay in touch, studies reveal that loneliness and isolation are on the rise. More people feel disconnected from their communities and unable to forge deep, meaningful relationships. This, according to Caraco, is the paradox of progress. Technological and societal advancements, while seemingly beneficial, often exacerbate feelings of alienation. This disconnection is not just about the digital divide or the increasing reliance on technology. It is also about the sense of personal dissatisfaction that accompanies so much of the modern pursuit of progress. In Caraco's view, the more we strive for progress without questioning its ultimate purpose, the more we risk losing sight of what truly brings meaning to life. The very idea of progress can sometimes become a distraction, leading us to pursue superficial goals rather than seeking deeper fulfillment. The race for success, whether in the form of wealth, status, or achievement, can create an environment in which people measure their worth by external accomplishments rather than internal satisfaction. In this light, progress becomes a cycle. Once one goal is achieved, another takes its place, but the underlying sense of emptiness often remains. Caraco's thoughts on the meaninglessness of modern life resonate deeply with this theme. He believed that modern existence, with its rapid pace and constant demands, have become mechanized and devoid of meaning. The impact of technology and consumerism on human life has been profound. Society, driven by capitalism and the need for constant production and consumption, places little value on introspection or self-reflection. People are encouraged to keep moving forward, to buy the latest products, to achieve more, but rarely are they asked what they truly want or need in their lives. For example, take the modern obsession with material possessions. It's easy to see how this plays out in the lives of many. Consider the rush to acquire the latest smartphone or the newest fashion trend. These items are marketed not just for their functionality, but for the status they confer upon their owners. People, particularly in capitalist societies, are often driven by the need to keep up with the latest trends, to own the newest gadgets, and to continually accumulate more. Yet, after acquiring these items, many still feel a sense of emptiness. There's a constant craving for more possessions, more validation, more achievements, but these things do not provide lasting fulfillment. Caraco would argue that this relentless cycle of consumption is one of the key factors that contributes to the meaninglessness of modern life. The endless pursuit of material goods, devoid of true reflection or purpose, leaves people feeling empty, despite the outward appearance of success. This disconnect between the material and the meaningful is compounded by societal expectations. Society has created a set of standards by which individuals are often judged, such as how much they earn, where they live, and what social circles they belong to. These external markers of success can be intoxicating. People seek validation through these markers, yet they rarely ask whether they truly align with their inner values or desires. Caraco's critique of modern life centers on the way societal structures enforce these expectations, leaving individuals feeling trapped in a system that doesn't allow for genuine self-expression or personal growth. Caraco also emphasized the importance of questioning societal norms and embracing individuality in the face of these pressures. He suggested that a significant part of overcoming existential angst lies in the ability to reflect on one's own life and find meaning through personal experiences. This process is deeply personal, and it requires individuals to reject the easy answers that society often provides in favor of a more nuanced and introspective understanding of life. In a world that often seeks to define success and happiness in external terms, Caraco encouraged people to define these concepts on their own terms. It's not about conforming to societal expectations, but about forging a path that aligns with one's inner truth. This idea of personal responsibility in the search for meaning is central to Caraco's philosophy. In his view, the pursuit of happiness and fulfillment should not be guided by external forces, but should come from a deeper understanding of oneself. He advocated for embracing the ambiguity of life, understanding that there are no simple answers to the fundamental questions of existence. In fact, Caraco believed that it was precisely this uncertainty that gives life its depth and richness. By accepting that life is inherently ambiguous, individuals can begin to engage with the world in a more authentic and meaningful way. The search for meaning, according to Caraco, is not something that can be easily achieved through external achievements or societal validation. It is something that requires introspection, self-awareness, but in the process of asking the right questions and exploring life's uncertainties. This idea challenges the conventional notion that life's meaning must be predetermined or clearly defined. Instead, Caraco's philosophy encourages individuals to embrace the journey of self-discovery and to find meaning through their unique experiences. This perspective is, in many ways, a rejection of the modern drive for certainty and control. Society often pushes individuals to seek concrete answers and to avoid discomfort or dissatisfaction. However, Caraco saw dissatisfaction not as something to be feared, but as an opportunity for personal growth. He believed that dissatisfaction, when approached with critical thinking and self-awareness, could be a powerful catalyst for change. In this sense, dissatisfaction becomes a tool for transformation, prompting individuals to reflect on their lives and seek new, more meaningful paths. This approach to dissatisfaction is particularly relevant in today's world, where many people experience a sense of dissatisfaction despite having all the material comforts they could desire. For instance, in the context of work, many individuals feel unfulfilled in their careers despite achieving outward success. The relentless pursuit of promotions, pay raises, and job titles often leaves little room for personal satisfaction or true engagement with one's work. People may achieve the external markers of success but still feel unfulfilled. This feeling of dissatisfaction is what Caraco would argue is essential for growth. By acknowledging the emptiness, individuals are prompted to seek fulfillment in a more authentic way, whether by pursuing passions, cultivating meaningful relationships, or redefining success on their own terms. In the end, Caraco's philosophy offers a powerful lens through which to view the modern condition. His critique of progress and his exploration of the meaninglessness of modern life are not simply critiques, but also invitations to rethink how we live. In a society that often prioritizes material wealth, external validation, and technological advancement, Caraco challenges us to look inward, to reflect on our lives, and to find meaning through individual experiences. His philosophy offers a path for those willing to question the conventional wisdom and embrace the uncertainty that defines human existence. Through self-awareness, introspection, and critical thinking, Caraco believed that individuals could find a deeper, more authentic sense of fulfillment, even in the face of life's inevitable anxieties. Caraco's critique of modern society revolves around its obsessive pursuit of progress. The idea of progress is enshrined in almost every aspect of modern life, from the relentless development of technology to the rapid strides made in science and social reforms. These advancements are lauded as marks of human achievement, pointing to a brighter, more interconnected future. However, Caraco presents a provocative view that progress, far from mitigating the existential anxieties that plague humanity, actually exacerbates them. For Caraco, the concept of progress has become an illusion, a mere facade that distracts us from the real issues we face as individuals in a disconnected society. At the heart of Caraco's critique is the paradox of progress. The more humanity seems to advance through breakthroughs in medicine, science, technology, and social policy, the more alienated people feel. The argument here is not that progress is inherently bad, but that it often masks deeper issues that are not being addressed. For example, as society grows more technologically sophisticated, the sense of loneliness, disconnection, and a lack of meaning grows ever stronger. This contradiction is especially visible when we consider how progress impacts our relationships and our sense of self. While we have more access to knowledge, resources, and communication tools than ever before, many individuals feel more isolated, less connected to their true selves, and increasingly distanced from one another. The digital age provides a clear, real-world example of this paradox. In a world where smartphones, social media, and instant messaging have revolutionized the way we communicate, we are simultaneously seeing an epidemic of loneliness. Platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter have made it easier than ever to stay in touch with friends, family, and strangers around the world. On paper, this is a tremendous leap forward, connecting people from different cultures and continents in real time. Yet, beneath the surface, social media has also given rise to a growing sense of alienation. While it might seem like people are more connected than ever, The relationships formed through digital interactions often lack depth, authenticity, and emotional resonance. Social media, in particular, has created a paradox. People share their lives, their thoughts, and their emotions online, but these interactions often feel hollow. The constant cycle of likes, comments, and shares can provide temporary validation, but does not lead to meaningful connections. Instead of fostering a sense of true community, social media often highlights the loneliness of the individual, exacerbating the sense of disconnection that many feel. This phenomenon aligns with Caraco's critique of progress. While technology has brought about remarkable changes, it has also cultivated an environment where the very tools designed to bring us closer together have actually led to greater isolation. The superficial connections made through social media, the constant stream of images designed to make people feel inadequate, and the incessant pressure to present an idealized version of oneself contribute to the feeling of alienation in an otherwise hyper-connected world. It's not just social media. The workplace and everyday life provide further evidence of Caraco's argument. With the rise of automation, artificial intelligence, and remote work, we find ourselves increasingly dependent on machines and systems that do not require human interaction. Automation in the workplace has improved efficiency, yet has also led to a loss of meaningful work for many people. The sense of achievement that comes from completing a task or contributing to a team can be absent in a world where machines can do much of the labor. What's left is the experience of being part of a system rather than a human-centered, purpose-driven community. Even as the world grows more technologically advanced, the core of human fulfillment, true connection with others, and the satisfaction of meaningful work is left unaddressed. This paradox of progress also plays out on a societal scale. Consider the advancement of modern healthcare. On one hand, medical science has achieved unprecedented successes curing diseases, extending life expectancy, and improving overall health. Yet, despite these breakthroughs, there's a growing sense of existential angst. People may live longer, but are they living better? As healthcare has improved, so has the pressure to maintain physical perfection, a standard that is increasingly difficult to meet. People are bombarded with health and wellness trends, many of which focus on aesthetics or fleeting notions of well-being, rather than addressing deeper, more fundamental concerns about the quality of life and the meaning of existence. Similarly, we see the effects of progress in the education system. While access to education has expanded, providing millions of people worldwide with new opportunities, there's a growing sense of dissatisfaction among students. The pressure to excel in a system that increasingly prioritizes standardized testing and quantifiable success can lead to feelings of inadequacy. The more education is pushed as a tool for social mobility, the more it becomes disconnected from its true purpose, helping individuals cultivate critical thinking and personal fulfillment. Instead, education has become another part of the system designed to produce a certain type of success, often leaving students feeling unprepared for the challenges of life beyond the classroom. This reflects the paradox that Caraco highlights. While the system advances and promises success, it often leaves individuals feeling unfulfilled and alienated from the true purpose of learning. In Caraco's view, this paradox of progress is one of the core issues that modern society faces. It is not that progress is inherently harmful, on the contrary. Progress has led to many positive changes in the world. However, progress without reflection, without a genuine understanding of its deeper implications, can lead to disillusionment and a sense of emptiness. The continual striving for the next milestone, the next achievement, can easily obscure the fundamental question of why we are striving in the first place. What is the purpose of all this progress? If it only leaves us feeling more disconnected from ourselves and each other, the real question that Caraco raises is not whether progress should continue, but whether we have lost sight of what truly matters in our pursuit of advancement. Are we pursuing progress for the right reasons? Or are we simply following an unthinking trajectory set by societal norms, technological advances, and market forces? In Caraco's terms, the question is about reclaiming the deeper meaning that is lost in the race for progress. It is about reflecting on what we truly need as human beings and understanding that the pursuit of external achievements, no matter how impressive they may seem, will never satisfy our inner yearning for connection, purpose, and fulfillment. The paradox of progress, as Caraco points out, is not just a philosophical concern. It is a deeply personal one. It's something that every individual faces, whether they are aware of it or not. The modern world, with its constant innovations and advancements, often leads individuals to focus on achieving more, accumulating more, and being more. Yet, in doing so, many people lose touch with what truly makes life worth living. Genuine relationships, a sense of belonging, and the pursuit of personal meaning. To truly address this paradox, Caraco calls for a shift in perspective, or realization that the most important progress is not always measurable in terms of technological breakthroughs or societal accomplishments, but in the quality of our inner lives and our ability to connect with others on a deeper level. This view also requires a rethinking of success. In a world obsessed with progress, success is often equated with outward achievement, money, status, and power. However, Caraco challenges us to rethink what success really means. True success, in his view, is not measured by the external markers of progress, but by how well we navigate the complexities of existence, how we embrace uncertainty, and how we find meaning and fulfillment in the midst of it all. The pursuit of progress may continue, but it should not be the sole focus. Instead, we should strive for a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us, recognizing that the most profound forms of progress are often internal and intangible, found in the way we live our lives and relate to others. In this sense, Caraco's critique is not a rejection of progress itself, but a call for a more reflective, thoughtful approach to progress, a recognition that the true value of progress lies not in the achievements we amass, but in the way we live and find meaning within our constantly evolving world. Caraco's critique of modern society revolves around what he referred to as the meaningless machine that governs much of our lives. For him, the machine is a metaphor for the overwhelming, often dehumanizing forces of consumerism and technology that dominate modern existence. In Caraco's view, these forces have turned human life into a mechanical process, reducing individuals to mere cogs in a system that values productivity, consumption, and fleeting pleasure over meaning, fulfillment, and personal growth. The result is a life devoid of depth, one where the constant chase for the next new thing prevents individuals from engaging in introspection, self-awareness, and true connection with themselves and others. The rise of consumerism, which Caraco identified as one of the key elements of the meaningless machine, has shifted the focus of human existence. In earlier times, people sought meaning through personal growth, relationships, and the pursuit of passions that connected them to something deeper than themselves. However, consumerism has altered this trajectory, replacing genuine fulfillment with the pursuit of goods, status, and instant gratification. Instead of finding satisfaction in a fulfilling career or meaningful relationships, modern individuals are often driven to accumulate things: cars, phones, clothes, and so on, in the hope that these possessions will bring happiness or contentment. Take, for instance, the overwhelming trend of material consumption that defines much of contemporary culture. Every year, a new smartphone is released, promising to solve all the problems of the previous model. People line up to buy the newest version, convinced that the latest gadget will improve their lives in some profound way. Similarly, the fashion industry thrives on the constant cycle of new trends, encouraging consumers to purchase the latest clothes to maintain a sense of relevance and social status. But despite all of this accumulation of material goods, many people find themselves feeling emptier than ever. The new phone, the new car, the new outfit, these things provide temporary satisfaction, but they don't bring lasting fulfillment. In Caraco's words, they are merely distractions, part of the endless cycle of consumption that leaves people unfulfilled and disconnected from their true selves. This phenomenon is further exacerbated by technology. While modern technology undeniably offers convenience and access to information, it also plays a pivotal role in contributing to what Caraco saw as the existential void of contemporary life. The constant bombardment of information, from social media updates to the constant ping of email notifications, leaves little room for meaningful reflection or introspection. We are perpetually distracted, always looking at our screens, reading the latest news, or checking our social media feeds. This constant flow of digital content can leave individuals feeling disconnected, not just from the world around them, but from their own inner lives as well. The rise of social media is a perfect example of how technology has contributed to this sense of disconnection. Social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter promise to keep us connected to our friends, family, and communities. They allow us to share our lives, thoughts, and experiences with the world, creating the illusion of connection. Yet, for many people, social media has become a source of alienation rather than connection. People share their lives on these platforms, but in doing so, they often feel more isolated, more disconnected from others. The relationships that are formed online can seem shallow, lacking the depth and authenticity of face-to-face interactions. People often find themselves comparing their lives to the curated, idealized versions that others present online, leading to feelings of inadequacy, envy, and loneliness. Moreover, the addictive nature of social media, combined with the rise of digital platforms that demand our attention, exacerbates the sense of living in a meaningless machine. The algorithm-driven content we consume online is designed to capture our attention and keep us engaged, but it rarely encourages us to reflect or engage deeply with the world around us. Instead, it encourages mindless scrolling, distracted viewing, and instant gratification. The result is a life where individuals are constantly looking for the next thing to distract them from the present moment, from their own thoughts, and from the deeper questions of life. In Caraco's philosophy, this constant distraction is a key part of what makes modern life so devoid of meaning. A significant aspect of this meaningless machine is the loss of individual agency and purpose. In a society where people are encouraged to consume, to buy, to keep up with the latest trends, they often lose sight of what really matters in life. The cycle of consumption becomes a routine, an automatic process driven by external forces, advertisers, social media influencers, and corporations rather than by the individual's own desires and values. People find themselves caught in a system that rewards the accumulation of goods and experiences without ever asking whether these things truly contribute to their well-being or personal growth. Caraco argued that, as a result, individuals lose their sense of agency. They no longer actively shape their lives based on their values or aspirations, but passively participate in a system that dictates what they should want and how they should live. Take the example of the rise of the digital consumer, a phenomenon that perfectly illustrates Caraco's critique. In today's world, technology has become so ingrained in everyday life that nearly everything we do is influenced by it. We shop online, communicate through text messages and social media, and even conduct work and education remotely. Technology has made life more convenient in many ways, but it has also made us more dependent on it. We are constantly upgrading our phones, computers, and gadgets in the hope that the next technological innovation will improve our lives. But instead of feeling more fulfilled or more connected, we often feel more disconnected and unfulfilled. We are constantly looking for the next best thing, whether it's the latest iPhone, the next social media trend, or the newest app yet. Once we have it, it rarely provides the lasting satisfaction we expect. This perpetual loop of consumption is a central aspect of what Caraco described as the meaningless machine. It's a system in which people are caught in a never-ending cycle of acquiring things, but never truly finding satisfaction. The more we consume, the more we are encouraged to consume. Yet we are rarely asked to stop and reflect on whether this cycle is really contributing to our happiness or well-being. It's a machine that keeps people moving forward without ever giving them the chance to pause, reflect, and engage with life in a meaningful way. Furthermore, the pursuit of fleeting pleasures, whether through material goods or digital distractions, prevents people from developing a deeper understanding of themselves and their place in the world. Caraco believed that the focus on consumption and external validation detracts from the pursuit of self-awareness and personal growth. In a world where external markers of success, such as wealth, status, and material possessions are often prioritized, individuals may neglect the more important aspects of life, such as emotional fulfillment, authentic relationships, and personal development. The machine of modern consumerism, with its emphasis on more, leads to a culture where people are constantly chasing after the next new thing, but never truly arriving at a place of contentment. In Caraco's view, the only way to escape the meaninglessness of modern life is to break free from the endless cycle of consumption and distraction. This requires a conscious effort to disengage from the meaningless machine and begin living more intentionally. It involves prioritizing self-reflection, authentic connections with others, and a focus on personal growth over the acquisition of material goods or the pursuit of instant gratification. By rejecting the distractions of modern consumerism and technology, individuals can begin to reconnect with their true selves and find meaning in their lives once again. The meaningless machine that Caraco warned against is not just a philosophical critique of modern life, it is a call to action. In a world increasingly dominated by consumerism and technology, it is crucial for individuals to step back and reflect on what truly matters. By doing so, they can escape the cycle of distraction and consumption and begin to live lives that are rich in meaning, purpose, and fulfillment. It is only through this conscious shift in perspective that we can hope to break free from the grip of the meaningless machine and reclaim our humanity. Caraco's philosophy on the search for meaning presents a profound challenge to the modern mindset, which often encourages individuals to seek fulfillment in external accomplishments, societal approval, and material wealth. In contrast, Caraco advocates for a more introspective, personal journey, one that requires deep self-awareness, courage, and a willingness to embrace the uncertainties of life. His approach does not promise simple answers or a quick fix, but instead, it calls for a profound shift in how we relate to ourselves, our experiences, and the world around us. One of the key aspects of Caraco's philosophy is the rejection of easy, superficial answers to life's existential questions. In a world where external expectations are constantly thrust upon us, whether through social media, advertising, or cultural norms, there is a constant pressure to conform to certain ideals. Society tells us that success means achieving career milestones, accumulating wealth, or attaining a particular status. For Caraco, these external markers are not the keys to genuine fulfillment. Instead, they are distractions that prevent us from exploring the deeper dimensions of our existence. He stresses that true meaning is not something that can be handed to us from the outside, nor is it something we can simply acquire by fulfilling society's prescribed roles. Rather, it must be discovered through individual experience and introspection. At the heart of Caraco's approach is the concept of self-awareness. This is not a superficial self-awareness where we simply reflect on our daily actions or thoughts, but a deeper, more authentic understanding of who we are, what we value, and what truly matters to us. Caraco encourages individuals to look inward, to ask themselves the difficult questions about their lives, and to be brutally honest about their desires, fears, and motivations. This requires a level of vulnerability that many people are reluctant to face. It's easier to follow the well-trodden path laid out by society, pursuing success in career, family, and social life because these paths offer clear goals and tangible rewards. But for Caraco, this is the very reason why they can be so unfulfilling. They offer answers that are too simple, too external, and ultimately too disconnected from the complexity of the human experience. Instead of seeking validation from outside forces, Caraco suggests that individuals embark on a journey of self-discovery. He does not prescribe a specific route or outcome for this journey, rather. He advocates for an open-ended exploration of life that allows individuals to engage with their authentic desires, passions, and values. Life does not come with a manual, nor does it present clear and definitive answers to the big existential questions. The very ambiguity and uncertainty of life, Caraco argues, are what make it meaningful. It is through embracing this uncertainty that we can begin to find our own answers, not through following a prescribed set of rules or goals. This view stands in stark contrast to the modern, goal-oriented mindset that has become so prevalent today, in a world that prizes measurable success and tangible outcomes. The notion of embracing uncertainty can feel uncomfortable and counterintuitive. We are constantly bombarded with messages that tell us we need to be achieving something, constantly striving for more. Success is often defined by how much we have or what we've accomplished, and failure is equated with not meeting these external standards. But Caraco sees this as a trap that keeps people from experiencing life's richness and depth. By focusing on the pursuit of external rewards, we miss out on the deeper experiences that come from engaging fully with the present moment, from exploring the complexities of our emotions, and from understanding the intricacies of our inner lives. Consider the example of an individual who, after years of chasing career success, wealth, and social status, begins to feel a profound sense of dissatisfaction. This person might have followed all the traditional markers of success, graduating from a prestigious university, climbing the corporate ladder, acquiring material possessions, and yet, despite all these achievements, they feel unfulfilled. At some point, this individual may realize that the goals they have been pursuing are not in line with their true desires. They may feel disconnected from their own values, or perhaps even from the people they once cared about. This realization can be unsettling and uncomfortable. It forces the individual to confront the fact that the external markers of success, career achievements, social recognition, material wealth do not bring the lasting fulfillment they expected. This is where Caraco's philosophy comes into play. Rather than continuing to chase after these hollow goals, Caraco encourages individuals to look inward and reevaluate their life's trajectory. The first step in this journey is to ask fundamental questions. What truly matters to me? What do I value most in life? What kind of person do I want to be? This is not about achieving something external or tangible, but about uncovering a deeper sense of self. It's about identifying the things that truly resonate with you on an emotional and spiritual level, rather than the things that society or culture tell you should matter. At this point, the individual may decide to embark on a personal journey of growth. This might involve pursuing new passions, letting go of old ambitions, or focusing more on personal relationships than career goals. For example, someone might decide to leave a high-paying but unfulfilling job to pursue a career that aligns more closely with their passions or values, such as art, teaching, or environmental advocacy. Alternatively, they might decide to spend more time nurturing relationships with family and friends, prioritizing meaningful connection over career success. The key, according to Caraco, is that this journey of self-discovery is deeply personal and unique to each individual. There is no universal blueprint for finding meaning in life. It is something that must be discovered through engagement with the world on a deeper level. Caraco's idea of embracing uncertainty plays a crucial role in this process. It is easy to feel lost or unsure when we step away from conventional paths or abandon the goals we've been taught to pursue. But Caraco argues that this uncertainty is not something to fear. Instead, it should be embraced as an integral part of the search for meaning. Life is not a series of linear steps that lead us to a predetermined goal. Rather, it is an ongoing journey that is shaped by our experiences, choices, and relationships. By embracing the ambiguity of life, we open ourselves up to new possibilities and experiences that we might otherwise miss. We allow ourselves to explore different facets of our identity and find meaning in the things that resonate most deeply with us. An example of this can be seen in the story of someone who has spent most of their life trying to fit into a specific mold, perhaps following the path laid out by their family or society. Pursuing a career or lifestyle that is seen as prestigious or successful. Over time, however, they may begin to feel a sense of disconnect from their true self. They might have achieved the external markers of success, graduated from top schools, built a lucrative career, and gained the approval of others, but they still feel an emptiness inside. Rather than continuing on this path, they might decide to embrace the uncertainty of a new direction. They may decide to leave their high-paying job and move to a new city to pursue an entirely different career, perhaps in the arts, education, or nonprofit work. This decision might come with uncertainty and risk, but also offers the potential for personal growth, deeper fulfillment, and more authentic connections with others. It is a journey that requires stepping away from external validation and embracing one's true desires and passions, even when the outcome is unknown. Ultimately, Caraco's search for meaning is not about finding easy answers or achieving specific goals. It is about engaging with life in a way that is authentic and true to oneself. It is about embracing the uncertainties that come with being human and recognizing that life's meaning cannot be found in external validation or societal expectations. By looking inward, reflecting on one's own values, and seeking personal growth, individuals can begin to find meaning on their own terms. In Caraco's view, the journey itself is the key to fulfillment, not the destination. It is through the process of self-discovery, introspection, and embracing uncertainty that we can find the deepest sense of purpose and satisfaction in life. Caraco's philosophy offers a unique perspective on dissatisfaction, one that challenges the common societal tendency to avoid discomfort at all costs. In a world that prioritizes comfort, success, and material achievement, dissatisfaction is often seen as something to be feared or eliminated. People work tirelessly to achieve the next goal, acquire the next possession, or reach the next milestone, all in the hope of finding happiness and fulfillment. However, Caraco flips this conventional view on its head, suggesting that dissatisfaction is not only natural, but essential for personal growth and deeper self-awareness. He believes that it is through dissatisfaction that we can begin to understand ourselves more fully and live more authentically. At the core of Caraco's philosophy is the idea that dissatisfaction is an unavoidable aspect of the human experience. It is not something that should be avoided or suppressed, but rather embraced as a crucial catalyst for change. In fact, Caraco sees dissatisfaction as a signal that something is not right, an indication that the current path we are on is not fulfilling our deeper needs. When we feel dissatisfied, it is an invitation to reflect on our lives, to question the choices we've made, and to explore new paths that might lead to a more meaningful existence. This idea is particularly relevant in a modern society that constantly pushes us toward achievement and external validation, where the pursuit of happiness is often framed as a linear path leading to success, wealth, and status. For Caraco, dissatisfaction is not a sign of personal failure or inadequacy. On the contrary, it is a necessary step in the process of self-discovery and personal transformation. The dissatisfaction we feel when we are not living in alignment with our values is a powerful motivator to change. Instead of resigning ourselves to a life of quiet discontent or numbing the pain with distractions, Caraco encourages us to lean into this discomfort. It is only by embracing dissatisfaction that we can truly begin to question the societal norms and expectations that often dictate our lives. Consider the example of a young professional who has spent years climbing the corporate ladder. At first, the pursuit of success through promotions, raises, and accolades provides a sense of purpose and satisfaction. However, after reaching the pinnacle of their career, they begin to feel a profound emptiness. Despite their outward success, they realize that something is missing. The work that once brought them pride now feels hollow, and they begin to question whether this is truly the life they want. They may look around at their colleagues and wonder if they too are simply going through the motions, chasing after goals that don't actually bring them happiness. The dissatisfaction they feel is not a sign of failure or a lack of ambition, but a signal that they have outgrown the path they have been following, rather than continuing down the same path. Caraco's philosophy would encourage this individual to embrace their dissatisfaction. Instead of simply accepting the emptiness as a fact of life or attempting to mask it with temporary distractions, the person might begin to question what truly matters to them. What are their passions? What brings them joy and fulfillment? What kind of life do they truly want to lead? This process of self-reflection may lead them to make a radical decision, to leave their corporate job, to take a step back from the relentless pursuit of success, and to embark on a new, more meaningful journey. In the case of the young professional, this dissatisfaction may push them towards something completely different: a creative project, a new career path, or a lifestyle that is more aligned with their values. The dissatisfaction that once felt like a burden now becomes the driving force for transformation. It motivates them to take risks, to step outside their comfort zone, and to pursue a life that feels more authentic. In doing so, they may find a sense of fulfillment that was absent in their previous career. This journey of personal transformation is made possible by the dissatisfaction that Caraco encourages us to embrace. It is through dissatisfaction that we are able to break free from the constraints of societal expectations and begin living a life that is more true to who we are. This process of embracing dissatisfaction and using it as a catalyst for change is not easy. It requires a willingness to confront the uncomfortable truths about ourselves and the world around us. It requires stepping away from the conventional paths that society lays out for us and forging our own way. It is not about rejecting ambition or striving for success, but about questioning the values and goals that drive our actions. Caraco's philosophy is not an excuse to abandon responsibility or retreat from the world, but rather a call to live more consciously and intentionally. It is about recognizing that dissatisfaction can be a powerful tool for growth, as long as we are willing to confront it head-on. The dissatisfaction that Caraco speaks of is not just an individual experience, but a societal one as well. In a culture that places so much value on external markers of success, many people feel disconnected from their true selves. They are constantly striving for more money, more possessions, more status without ever taking the time to ask whether these things are truly fulfilling. Society encourages us to compete, to compare ourselves to others, and to measure our worth by external standards. However, Caraco's critique of these societal norms is that they often lead to a sense of alienation and discontent. When we are too focused on meeting society's expectations, we risk losing sight of our own desires and values. The result is a pervasive sense of dissatisfaction, which Caraco argues is not only inevitable, but necessary for finding authentic fulfillment. Take, for example, the pressure many young people feel to attend prestigious colleges and land high-paying jobs, even if those careers are not in line with their passions or interests. The desire for financial success and social recognition is often prioritized over personal fulfillment. As a result, many people end up in careers they do not find meaningful, simply because they feel that they have to conform to societal expectations. This is a form of dissatisfaction that is often ignored or suppressed, as individuals push forward in pursuit of goals that are not truly their own. However, Caraco would argue that this dissatisfaction should not be ignored but embraced. It is a sign that something is wrong, that the path being followed is not aligned with one's true values. By acknowledging and embracing this discomfort, individuals can begin to reassess their priorities and make more conscious decisions about their lives. In this context, dissatisfaction becomes a powerful tool for transformation, both on an individual and societal level. It forces us to ask questions about the meaning and purpose of our lives, and it challenges us to break free from the constraints of conventional success. Instead of simply accepting the status quo, Caraco urges us to question it, to challenge it, and to seek out new possibilities. Dissatisfaction, in this sense, is not a negative force, but a positive one, a catalyst for change that can lead to a more authentic, meaningful existence. Ultimately, Caraco's philosophy on dissatisfaction encourages us to view discomfort not as something to be avoided, but as something to be embraced. It is through dissatisfaction that we can begin to uncover the deeper truths about ourselves and the world around us. By embracing dissatisfaction and using it as a motivator for change, we open ourselves up to the possibility of living a life that is more authentic, more fulfilling, and more true to our values. Dissatisfaction, according to Caraco, is not something to be feared. It is an invitation to transform our lives, to break free from the superficial answers that society provides, and to create a life that is truly our own. Caraco's philosophy, while acknowledging the bleak and often overwhelming aspects of modern existence, ultimately presents a perspective filled with hope. His analysis of existential angst is not one of resignation, but of empowerment. Instead of succumbing to despair, Caraco invites individuals to view their struggles as the beginning of a deeper, more meaningful journey. For him, the discomfort and dissatisfaction that many feel in modern life are not signs of failure or the inevitability of meaninglessness, but are invitations to explore life more fully, to break free from the chains of superficiality, and to engage authentically with the world around us. At the core of Caraco's philosophy is the idea of self-awareness. In a society that often pushes individuals to conform to external standards of success and happiness, Caraco argues that true fulfillment comes from understanding oneself at a deep, intrinsic level. Self-awareness is not just about knowing our thoughts or actions, but about understanding our motivations, desires, and values in a way that allows us to live a life that is true to ourselves. This kind of introspection requires a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths and to resist the pressure to conform to societal expectations that are often disconnected from our inner lives. When we become more self-aware, we begin to see that the external goals and achievements that society prizes, such as wealth, status, and fame, do not necessarily lead to happiness or meaning. Instead, true fulfillment comes from living in a way that is authentic to our deepest selves, even if it means rejecting the norms that society holds dear. Caraco also emphasizes the importance of rejecting the illusion of progress. In modern society, progress is often seen as synonymous with success and fulfillment. Technological advancements, social reforms, and economic growth are celebrated as signs of human achievement, and there is a pervasive belief that more progress will lead to greater happiness and satisfaction. However, Caraco challenges this view by arguing that progress, in its conventional form, often masks deeper issues of alienation and meaninglessness. As society progresses, people are increasingly disconnected from each other and from their own inner lives. The more we achieve, the more we consume, the more we pursue progress for its own sake, the further we drift from what truly matters: relationships and self-understanding. This rejection of progress as the ultimate goal is a crucial aspect of Caraco's hopeful message. It is an opportunity to reclaim our agency and to create meaning in a world that often seems devoid of it. The key, according to Caraco, is to embrace life's uncertainties and to face them with courage and self-awareness. By questioning societal norms and rejecting the easy answers that are often offered to us, we can begin to carve out our own path, one that is guided by our authentic desires and values. This process of self-discovery is not easy. It requires vulnerability, introspection, and a willingness to step outside the comfort zone of conventional life. However, it is through this process that we can find fulfillment, not by following prescribed societal routes to success, but by living in a way that is truly our own. An important part of this journey is engaging with life authentically. In a world that constantly bombards us with distractions and superficial goals, it is easy to become numb to our own desires and to lose touch with what truly matters. Caraco's message encourages us to resist this numbness and to engage with life in a more conscious, deliberate way. Authentic living means making choices that align with our deepest values, even when those choices go against the grain of what society expects. It means having the courage to express ourselves honestly and to pursue what brings us joy and fulfillment, even when it's not what others think we should be doing. Authentic self-expression is not about rebellion for its own sake, but about reclaiming the right to live our lives on our own terms. In doing so, we can transcend the alienation and disconnection that characterize much of modern society and experience a deeper sense of fulfillment. Caraco's view of life is not one of passive acceptance or blind optimism. He acknowledges that the journey to self-awareness and authenticity is difficult, filled with challenges and uncertainties. However, he also believes that it is through facing these difficulties head-on that we can achieve the most profound and rewarding form of fulfillment. Instead of seeking meaning in external achievements or societal validation, Caraco encourages individuals to look inward and to find meaning in their own experiences, relationships, and personal growth. The journey towards self-discovery may be long and arduous, but it is ultimately the only path that leads to true fulfillment. A key aspect of this journey is the idea of self-empowerment. Caraco's philosophy provides a sense of agency to those who might feel lost in the face of existential doubt. While modern life often seems to strip individuals of their ability to find meaning on their own, Caraco offers a path that allows people to reclaim their power. By rejecting the illusion of progress, questioning societal norms, and embracing the ambiguity of life, we can begin to forge our own path. This requires the courage to question everything we have been taught to value, the courage to confront the discomfort that comes with self-awareness, and the courage to pursue a life that is authentic and true to ourselves, even if it means rejecting the familiar and the comfortable. In many ways, Caraco's philosophy is a call to live life fully, to embrace its uncertainties and imperfections, and to engage with the world in a way that is deeply personal and meaningful. In a society that often prioritizes external markers of success, Caraco offers a more profound and personal path to fulfillment, one that is based on self-awareness, authenticity, and a rejection of superficial goals. The search for meaning is not an end, but a process, one that is ongoing, dynamic, and deeply rewarding. The hope in Caraco's philosophy lies in the possibility of finding meaning in a world that often seems devoid of it. By embracing life's uncertainties, questioning societal norms, and living authentically, we could transcend the alienation and emptiness that many people feel today. Caraco's message is not one of resignation, but of empowerment. It is a call to take ownership of our own lives and to create meaning through our choices, experiences, and relationships. The journey may be difficult, but it is the most profound journey we can undertake, one that has the potential to bring us closer to who we truly are and to the deeper truths of life. By adopting Caraco's perspective, we are not condemned to a life of meaninglessness. Instead, we are empowered to create our own meaning in a world that often seems to offer none. So, what have we learned today? Caraco's philosophy teaches us that dissatisfaction isn't something to fear or avoid. It's actually the key to discovering deeper meaning in our lives. In a world constantly chasing after progress, wealth, and external validation, it's easy to get caught up in the cycle of achievement without ever asking the crucial question, is this really fulfilling me? Caraco calls us to reject the illusion of progress and instead embrace the uncertainty and dissatisfaction that naturally come with being human. Only by doing this can we break free from the alienation of modern life and live more authentically. It's about questioning the norms, listening to your inner voice, and living according to your own values rather than societal expectations. It's about finding real fulfillment in the journey of self-awareness and creating meaning in a world that often seems devoid of it. So, if you've been feeling lost in the rush for external success, or if you're tired of chasing empty goals, it's time to take a step back, embrace the discomfort, and begin your own journey of self-discovery. The answers may not come easily, but by challenging yourself and embracing the journey, you can find fulfillment beyond the superficial. Before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to keep these conversations going. And if you want to show your support and help us create more content like this, please consider giving a super thanks. It helps us bring even more thought-provoking content straight to you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, where we'll continue exploring the deep and meaningful topics that help us live a more authentic life. Stay curious, stay true to yourself, and most importantly, stay dissatisfied, because that's where the magic happens.